Hey there, it's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, and this is where I teach you how to love your life and lose the weight. In my video today, I want to talk about how the identities that you have created for yourself are shaping the habits that you have. The problem is that most of us are not really aware of those identities, so in order to change your habits, you have to get behind the curtain and see what's really going on in terms of who you think you are. To illustrate how this works, I want to tell you something about myself, and that is that I am an extreme morning person. I'm definitely an early bird. And when I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and what in the hell does somebody do at 4 a.m.? I'll tell you what I do. I get up, I make a cup of coffee, and I read something inspiring to set the tone for my day. Then I visualize what my life looks like when I have achieved all of the goals that I have for myself. And then after that, I get out my day planner and I make a list of everything I need to do that day that will get me closer to those goals. So I read, I do a little bit of visualizing, and I plan my day. And those are habits that I have that are really and truly effortless for me. I don't have to make myself do any of these things because I identify so strongly as a morning person. So as I said a minute ago, the problem is that we're not really aware of the identities that we have set up for ourselves. And so what happens is that you're identifying as a certain kind of a person, and then all of these habits and behaviors are naturally flowing out from that identity. But if you're not aware of what's happening, what you will do, and what most people do, and what I used to do also, is to keep trying to change the habits, which really are the side effect of the identity, rather than getting to the source and changing it there. So the goal is to dismantle the identities that are not serving us, and then to either improve on those or choose a different one. And then once you do that, it's going to be easy for you to take the right actions every single time. So now I'm going to give you 3 steps on how to do it. Step 1 is to identify the identity that you're trying to change. And how you do that is you make a list of bad habits that you would like to change, and then see if they are related to somehow an identity that you've created for yourself. So an easy example is in the afternoon, after your kids get home from school, are you constantly snacking on candy or sweets? And when you go out for dinner, do you always feel compelled to order a dessert? Well, you might be thinking of yourself as a chocoholic or someone who's just a sweets person. That's an easy one. But keep in mind that your identity may not necessarily seem like it's related to your behavior. So an example of that is if you feel like you never have time to cook or you don't have time to work out, you might identify as a workaholic and you take pride in working really hard. But as long as you're identifying as a workaholic, part of that identity is you're so busy that you don't have time for other things. Step number 2 is to change your language. So for example, if you're identifying as a workaholic, maybe you could change that to I work really hard. You see the difference in that? And then you can see if another behavior, a positive behavior, can be added to support that same identity, but that's just modified with different language. So for example, if you identify as a workaholic, you could change that to I'm an extremely busy person who also makes time to work out. The same thing is true in the example of I'm a sweets person. Maybe you could change that language to I really enjoy sweets, and then add to that, and I love eating fruit. See if you can modify the language that you're using to make it a little less extreme, and then add a positive behavior to that and see if you can make it coexist. Step number 3 is an easy one, and that is take action. Start taking baby steps toward this modified identity that you've set up for yourself. So for the example of being a workaholic, you're now a busy person who makes time for exercise or for cooking. And so what you would do is get out your day planner and schedule time to work out. Schedule time that you go to the grocery store and make a healthy meal for your family. If you have changed from I'm a sweets person to I'm someone who really enjoys something sweet and I also love to eat fruit, then what you could do first is add fruit to what you're already doing, and then eventually let the fruit be a substitute for the candy that you're snacking on. And by the way, if you want to add a little bit of sugar to your fruit, that's a hell of a lot better than binging on M&Ms all afternoon. So to sum that up, write down the bad habits that you have that you'd like to change. See if there's anything in common with an identity that you may have set up for yourself. Change the language that you're using and modify the identity to make it so that it's easier to engage in positive behaviors, and then take action. The whole goal of this is to strengthen a positive identity to the point where you naturally have healthy habits that go with it so that you no longer have to force yourself to do these things. Remember, you always have to get to the source of the problem rather than keep changing the behaviors that are side effects of it. So if you have an identity that needs to be changed or upgraded, use these 3 steps to get it done. I really hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure to share it with a friend. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, go ahead and hit subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you here next time on Love to Lose.